Alrighty, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. Um, Welcome to another episode of course, our channel AI Made Our Podcast. And today we have a bit of a topic that's kind of like somewhat connected to how we started our episode with. And today is going to be related to about AI, of course, but involving entrepreneurship. And it's a topic that obviously somewhat personally myself can relate, and of course our boy Favian here can relate somewhat because of his own personal situation. So we're why not let's get started. So the thing about entrepreneurship entrepreneurship, whether it's used to be or still is, it's a way to grow your life in a more advanced approach. We're all somewhat tradition to the idea of like we have to go to school to work hard and then get a 9 to 5 job and work for as long as we live. But then entrepreneurship comes into play where there are people who just felt like they want to be their own boss and control their own life, and they pivot to starting their own business. But if we look back about episode one and the first episode we recorded, we talked about how AI's impact the job market. This is kind of like the continuation, just like kind of like taking a break in between. But it's kind of like continued how we are trying to figure out like people like are somewhat having a hard time getting jobs. There are people who are getting laid off and reapplying for work, but no one understands like how stressful can that be, especially if you're trying to express this to like the younger generation. They don't understand much about what it's like being either unemployed, or even if you're employed but wanting to look for a different kind of work, whether it's because of salary or just feeling like you want to pivot to a different industry but you're not getting it. But then it kind of like forces people to be like, all right, if I can't get a job myself, I may have to start my own job. Now, it can be debatable, but I think something maybe, Fabe, you could probably connect with this is because you said about how you're still looking for a job at finishing college, and it's been a while since you finished college, and you're still looking for work, despite your all your education that you achieved, all the certificates you achieved, all the skills you added. Do you feel like, at this point, I'll get your takeaway from this. Do you feel like the future of tech may require people to start their own business?
Um, that I really don't know. Yeah, with the way AI is growing, the tech world is definitely uncertain. There's so much uncertainty. I guess if you want to get a grasp on it, you definitely need to know some machine learning code, which is what they use for the AI. But you also learn SQL. SQL is much easier to learn since it's just interacting with databases. It's the script encoding to interact with databases. That's a little bit easier than machine learning. Machine learning, you kind of have to do some sort of predictions, graphing, make sure that you can bring in the data that will be filtered or edited so that it is easier for the computer, the bot to understand, and then output it, and you have to read those predictions. So that's a little more work to do. But in terms of job finding, yeah, it's hard now because all jobs use AI to like filter out resumes, virtual interviews. So it's disheartening. It really is disheartening. Um, but a social media user that I know followed for a while actually um, uh, created a company that uses AI for job hunting. So I thought that was just really impressive. They're utilizing AI despite the fact that it's already being used, but she built a company essentially for utilizing AI for job, like helping people find jobs. And I just thought that was fascinating because, like as you were saying, um, young people nowadays don't know what it's like to be unemployed, and with how uncertain the market is, do we need to start our own jobs? Here's an example of a social media creator doing that exact same thing, creating a company using AI for job hunting.
But then it really comes down to this point: is it forcing people now to start their own jobs? Because what it used to be like, people are like, all right, I have to come out of college and look for work. Now it seems like whether you went to college or not, it seems like you only have one choice. If AI really takes over a lot of the jobs, is you have to start your own business, not by choice, but by force. Entrepreneurship
I
used to be a
mean,
choice.
I
Now it
mean,
feels
back
like,
then, even then, if you did have a degree, there was no certainty that you had that job in your field, right? Say, like, you had a degree in biology. Okay, you have a degree in biology. What the heck are you gonna do with that degree? Do you have experience working in a lab? Do you have experience decoding you know DNA or creating stuff with DNA? Maybe, right? But there's no certainty that you have that job or get a job like that just because you have the degree, right? So that's the to refute your point, that is a valid thing though, right? People, once you get out of college, you usually find a job. With the rise of AI, right, people need to make their own jobs. But the question is, um, there's no certainty, right? How do you know that even though back then when you had a degree, you were able to get a job? Did you know? I definitely didn't know, right?
I mean,
I
I
don't.
was high school. I was in high school back then, so I wouldn't
What
understand.
I mean for high school, but I'm saying like for all those other people, right? You get like a certain degree, right? Like philosophy, right? You have a degree in philosophy. What the heck are you gonna do once you graduate? What job is there using philosophy? Psychology, you have psychiatrists, therapists, but there's no guarantee that you still get that job, especially since there's so many psychiatrists and therapists out there, right? And they cost us so much for it. Like, geez, $600 for like a session.
Hmm.
I'd rather just talk to people over their phone and tell them just listen to me vent. Like,
Yeah,
what $600 for a therapy session?
yeah,
That's a waste of degree.
hmm,
Holy cow!
yeah.
Jeez.
But then, like, the reason why I brought up this topic is because if you really look in our position, like, it feels like we are somewhat starting our own job, even though one of us is unemployed. Because if you look at how this podcast began, it really began with a story. It began. I mean, not trying to say like it
That's
was a bad
or
story, right? But there was a reason behind it. But it really just came down to passion. I feel like with the emergence of AI, like, it really comes down to, like, I really have thought this a lot. Wouldn't it be better to like use AI part of my entrepreneurship journey, especially when it comes to like organization skills, things that need to be organized, especially also brainstorming too. I feel like sometimes, like, if you have a passion for something, you want to like go and do it. Like, especially like podcasting. Like, if you have a passion just talking on a video, uploading, let the world hear it, do it. Don't just like think about it, because it's easier to talk about it than it is to do it.
mm-hmm.
But to actually do it, you'll
Or
understand how somewhat satisfying it is to actually be doing the work, even though you're just starting out. I sometimes feel like because of the way the job market is impacted because of artificial intelligence, and then like people are like somewhat still struggling to look for work, or they're almost there, but it still takes. Let's say if you've been looking for a job for a year, well, and you know that you're almost there because you're getting like more offers, you're getting interviews. You're not officially there yet. You still haven't accepted a final offer yet, and if you don't accept
yep,
it, you may not have another opportunity.
yep,
And
yep.
this is where the entrepreneurship comes in. You don't really need to spend money to start a business, really. Like content creation, you don't really need money to start it. All you need is what you have, a device like a computer, a mic,
Yep.
a software like Discord or OBS, and that's it. Just like how we're doing it. But then there are those who can't do content creation and instead want to actually start a business, whether it's clothing lines or whatever passion they may have. It really just comes down to the fact that AI can AI be doing this intentionally? Well, not intentional, but unintentionally, forcing people to bring out their passion to the real world because it feels like it, just like how we're doing it right now.
That brings up a lot of good points because, as we said so in the previous two episodes about passion, um, AI can never take away passion, right? And that's what we need to emphasize. In order to combat the AI takeover, essentially, is to make sure you have your passion still going, right? Your creativity might be stifled a little bit, right? Your enthusiasm might be, stifled a little bit, but if you love what you do, right? If you want to turn into profits, right? Go for it. AI can never take that away from you. AI can help you, right? It makes things easier, but it can never take that away from you. I know for sure. Many people have like different hobbies, right? They make shirts, they make pens, pencils, books, right? AI will never be able to take those away, no matter how hard they try, right? AI can replace workers, so they can um, code up like a whole bunch of websites for you, right? Don't need for like coders anymore. Software design, like website designers and stuff like that. They can make a logo for you, but for you to start this business, keep it going for generations and generations. Yeah, AI could never take that. No way. No absolute way.
Yeah, and it really comes down to the fact that wait, so if AI is forcing people to start their own business, wouldn't this actually mean like a great way to like support more businesses? Because if you really think about it, is it? Which tell me if you think I'm right or wrong here. I
You're probably
personally
wrong. No,
I haven't
I'm
said
joking.
I haven't said anything yet, but I personally feel like it's easier to support a business through digitally just by watching them do their passion than it is to actually leave our homes to support a business where it first of all you have to physically be there, wait in line. Like for example, like if I had a friend who started like a bubble tea shop, well, if you start a bubble tea shop you could expect a very very long line. Like personally, I waited in a 3 hour line just for boba tea, and as much as I want to support the business because it's my favorite brand company, first of all, I don't know about the
Mhm.
3 hour wait. But then if you think about the digital entrepreneurship market now, if everyone's like making money through their own digital business, wouldn't this be a good way to help grow the economy? Just simply supporting small digital businesses each other, because it's like saying like, all right, I got supporters watching our videos, but then I got a supporter that's also doing their own company. Well, I'm going to support that company by actually using what I earn and actually buy their products, hoping that they will give me something in return. It's kind of like a relationship situation here where you kind of like just like let the world help you, just like how we're trying to help others. If that
Yeah,
makes
that's definitely something to think about. AI is a beast, I swear. It is an absolute beast.
I mean, more than just a beast, but it can probably help rethink a human mind and really just open up and be like, there's a reason why AI took over and started taking jobs away and starting people to make feel that they have to start their own jobs. It's because it's also revealing a human side where a human can easily give up, lose their
Mhm.
passion, and if you don't find a way to recover, you may not recover from that. Which I think the very good lesson here is like, if AI, like I said, it feels like I'm repeating like AI is forcing entrepreneurship here, but more than just forcing entrepreneurship, is it forcing you to like be like, all right, you've been you've been acting very weak lately, and with AI taking over almost every skill you can think of that every human has, wouldn't it be better for you to be like, all right, you can beat AI just by simply open up your own business. And one way to do that is take your passion. But like I said earlier, it's very hard to do something than it is to actually talk about it. Talking about it involves like just dreaming about it. Like when you talk about it, you can like your mind starts thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But then, where's the work? Where's the product? You can't really show that. So the way I look at it, AI is like a lesson. It's like a lesson where like, all right, you can AI like it's like these chatbots or these bots are like telling you like, hey, I may be taking your traditional entry level jobs away, but that does not mean that it's over for you. I am challenging you to something go beyond just traditional work. And you know what? I'm not even surprised because if you look at other YouTube channels, like I've seen people that work in corporate companies are now doing digital creation.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just balancing life of their corporate work or just in general traditional work with whatever passion they may have. Like if they want to like show their personal life, you got IG for it, you got YouTube for that. So it's kind of like, and it's kind of like AI sending a direct message to be like, go start your own freaking passion. But it's also AI can somewhat be encouraging you in a good way because I feel like AI's influence kind of like helped us build our podcast channel, which is why our channel is called AI Made Our Podcast because it felt like we were somewhat being like humbled by the idea of it, if that makes sense.
AI is taking over everything. I mean, you want to get onto that bandwagon too. Otherwise, right? As you said, AI is forcing you to, start your own business. We are taking advantage of that. This is not a business, but we are taking advantage of AI. AI hasn't made our script, but AI made our podcast. So it's doing something for us, and we're taking advantage of it, and everyone else should. You don't have to let it take over everything, over your life, but, use it, utilize it. It's
And
out there for you to use.
yeah, and then coming from as a business graduate here, the way I look at it, it's like you talk about how your friend is using AI to start a job search company. Well,
It was a social media influencer, kind of. That wasn't
I'll
my
kind of like
friend.
that idea, but it kind of falls along the same way, the same thought process. Finding ways to help people look for their jobs in this kind of tough market using AI technology. But I also feel like AI can definitely be used more than just supporting others.
Mm.
I sometimes feel like AI can really help brainstorm. To me, it's like here's my advice for those who are struggling to look for work and feel like have thoughts of like I want to start a business. I can't find a job. If I can't find a job, I have to start my own job. I would say this: utilize AI tools for this. Like for example, use the chatbots that are available and ask them questions. Ask them like some ideas, like what can I do, and AI may not be perfect with these responses, but they give you realistic responses of like potentially like this could be a good idea, but they will also tell you gotta have to put the work in because AI may be a machine, but it's a machine that it's like a hybrid in between. It can do the work for you, but it can
Mm.
also tell you to be like you have to go do it yourself. It's like saying like if you ask AI like about the job market, you want to ask AI help you find a job. Well, AI can help you find some ideas like what job fits you what, but it's gonna tell you like if you have to apply to like 50 jobs in a week to get sustainable results, right? Because AI can't apply for you; you have to do it yourself. So AI is somewhat helping you and humbling you at the same time, and I feel like that's a good way for like people to be like, all right, you can go start your own job by just being humbled by AI. And I feel like we've both been humbled by AI, which is why it led up to this. If you think about it.
we were humbled, very humbled.
But humbled
You
in a
know,
good way,
we're
though.
it's crazy. So here's the question for you, right?
All right, go ahead.
With all these companies, no, with all these people out of jobs, having the possibility of making their own jobs, what does that say for the job markets and stuff like that? Will there be too much of these jobs? There's already competitions between foods like Burger King and McDonald's for years already, right? If someone wants to make their own a food brand, Ryan Trahan, the YouTuber, made Joyrides, the snack company. Like Pokemon, like those YouTubers are making, clothing lines, other snacks too, right? What does that say for the job market? What do you think? Is there, too much competition? Are people screwed because of that?
I Here's the way I look at it with especially with these people starting their business. I look at it two different ways. One, it can impact the job market simply just because it's also kind of like tightening the market if you think about it. Because the if more people like even current YouTubers were to start like a side business, snacks, clothing lines. Well, if you really think about it, it's kind of like somewhat helping stretch out the market a little more. Because then, like, if these people were like formerly people that were looking for a job but can't find work, it can probably reduce the amount of applications companies are getting, like the traditional companies. It can probably reduce the amount of applications they're getting for job applications. But here comes another part that I'll mention this too is that also means that those people who started their side business, if their company grows enough profits to the point where they can start hiring people, they're gonna hire people. And you know what? YouTubers are hiring people for things like editing, um, directing. I don't know what roles they're providing, but
Sounds about right.
the
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
if more people start businesses, the more the job opens up. Because the reason why it's so tight is here's the way I look at it. The reason why it's so tight with so many people like looking for work and people are getting laid off is because there's only this many companies. In order to meet up it's kind of like the supply and demand situation here. There's more demand, less supply. There's no
Mm,
balance. In order for it's like real estate, for example. Like, you want to buy a house. Well, sure, everyone wants to buy a house. Even when I bought my house, I wanted to buy a house too, right? But the market only has this many properties in the market, right? Jobs, same thing. As a matter of fact, jobs have extreme more demand than real estate purchasing, partly because jobs is part of our life. But when you have
mm.
so many people like coming out of college, and I'll throw in this question here, even though it's not related to our topic today, but I'll throw it in anyway before I get into it. But I will tell you this: more people needs to start businesses in order to help control the demand, because there's only this many companies. You need more companies. But how do more companies happen? People need to support these businesses in order for the company to grow, to be profitable, so that way they can hire these people. So that way the job market isn't so tight, so tight knitted, and now it's wide open. More people can now somewhat feel like an ease. Like, all right, if I don't get a job here, I may get a job there. Not like, oh, if I'm not gonna like if I'm gonna get a job, if I can't get a job here, of course I'm not gonna get a job over there because they're probably already overhired, right? But I'll throw in this question here, even though it's not related to our topic, and it's related to due to the fact that this whole thing, and maybe a continuation of our first episode, could it be because the reason why college, I mean not college, the reason why the job market is so, I don't want to say atrocious, but it feels like it. Is it due to the fact that there's too many people going to college? Personally, for me, whether you disagree with me or not, I personally think there's just way too many people going to college in pursuit of a career that may not be realistically available. Because people keep going to college believing that college is going to get them jobs. I don't believe that. I don't believe college gets you jobs. I believe in college gives you networking opportunities that helps you build relationships to potentially get roles. But it's not like a you pay thousands of dollars and when I come out, I'm gonna get a job after that. I don't believe that. I really don't. Whether you disagree with my idea, I'm just saying that is more like the truth here. College was never a guaranteed job placement. Even if you went to a boot camp, it's the same thing. It's not. It was never a guarantee, even if they advertise it as guaranteed. They only advertise it just to make it look good, but there's the good look part always has a bad part, and unfortunately, it's because of this. So I want to get your answer here. Just one simple question: is there too many college graduates for this job market?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the reason why college was a thing in the first place was to give opportunities for people, right? To get a better paying job. But as you said, right, with now everyone getting out of college, everyone's getting a degree, everyone's laying off. What's the point of going to college? And and that's what I'm saying. Like it's maybe because like even though college um uh, is kind of useless, you got the networking. That's why you should go to college. You gain a little knowledge, perfect. But you meet the people there, right? You meet the people there that's worth the trip to go to college. Um, but I can say for certain that if you want to spend the effort to go to college and have a degree um, under your name, sure, do it. If you don't want to waste your time, don't worry, right? Don't worry about it. With AI, you could probably learn something on whatever topic you want in a week, give or take how fast you learn, right? But when in doubt, just put whatever you like to do as a hobby to use and make a company out of it. Make money off of it. Because what is it? The big name companies, Facebook, right? Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college. Um, is it Bill Gates that didn't go to college at all? What did?
I feel a lot of these big name CEOs. I don't think they finished college all the way. Not all. Not saying
Yeah,
all of them, because I think they found potential to grow without college.
exactly. So with how AI is going and what you can learn with it, what it can do for you, we can utilize it to not be like one of those big guys, but maybe get us in the same ballpark at least. It's the way the job market is. It's the way the world is, right? It's harsh times out there, um, but hey, we do our best, right, guys? We do our best.
Yeah, but there is a part that I somewhat disagree is when you mentioned maybe, because like the problem
Oh,
the problem with the maybe response is kind of like saying like should you go to college or should you not go to college. Personally, I feel like in this market to control the job market, and I'm gonna make this sound very controversial here. I think the job market may be a little bit overlooked because I think what's being overlooked is the fact people say the job market is bad because of the corporate jobs are like there's less opportunities. No one talks about like traditional labor work or professional licensing work, like construction working, you know, train operation, bus operation, labor work too. Like those jobs are there. People just don't want to do that, and I understand why they don't want to do it, but I think it's kind of you have to kind of separate it. The labor job market is there for you.
yeah,
It's just no one wants to
yeah,
do it. They would
yeah.
rather to be in a competition for these big name companies. I also think that I also think that with AI involved, you can technically use AI tools to help you navigate around labor work. And one way you can do that is even if you're doing labor work, when you get out of work, you have time to use AI to figure out a passion, figure out what you want to do in life. Versus if you work in a corporate company, You may not have time to do that. You come home from work, you sleep, well, you eat, you sleep, you shower, and then you go to bed. But then the college student part, like, I feel like I kind of like hope, like, I think high school may be at fault for this because I know guidance counselors do encourage students to go pursue a college degree, partly because
Mm.
the college experience and networking opportunities. I can understand it, but I kind of like feel that people, especially teenagers at those age, need to understand that you don't need to be pressured to go to college. And if you're being pressured because of family want you to go to college, that's a big challenge there. It's a very tough challenge. Unless you can convince them that this market is not built for college students anymore. And you know what? I feel like it feels that way. You're a college graduate for as of 2 years, still looking for work. I'm a recent college graduate, and even though I'm working in a restaurant industry, I kind of like want to pivot to an industry that I belong into, but I'm just not getting that opportunity. And I think it's due to the fact that I'm competing against over a million different college graduates in the nation.
Mm.
I don't know if there's a million, but certainly there's a lot of graduates.
Who knows if there's a million, but it
It's
feels like it. You
like
know, it
it's
feels
like
like.
it's like saying, like, let's say, all right, I'm gonna say, let's say there's 100,000 college graduate in the nation. Out
Hmm.
of those 100,000 graduates, probably only like 2% are gonna get land roles. 2%, due to the fact that there's only that many roles available in the market. 2% of that.
Hmm.
If that's crazy if you really think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like out of, it's like saying, like, I work so hard and I only get this little, like, it's like saying, like, if I do the math here, like 100,000 of 2%, that's like only 2,000 people getting jobs out of that big number. 98% of them, good luck. Good luck. Because not only you're competing this year's graduate, you also have to compete against next year's graduates. It's gonna go on and on and on and on cycle of competition. Which is why, like, I feel like, all right, those 2,000 people, it's like, all right, you may have lost an opportunity to land roles. Those 98% of you, go 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 do some stuff, find your passion, get the job done. Because I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if these people actually started their own business with their passion and actually grew better than those 2,000 people. Because sometimes you go to college does not dictate whether or not you're a failure or not. And if you can't find a job, you're not really a failure. It's just the market failed you because of the influctuation of the amount of people going to college and graduating. Like,
Hmm.
and it's also to the fact that technology is also a part of it too. Because back then, when I asked people back then how college application worked, they applied by hand. They didn't do it digitally. It wasn't like you could apply to like 10 different colleges like we
Oh
can
yeah.
now. Yeah, back then you can only do like what, two or three, because it takes such a long time to apply for schools. And because of that, not a lot of people went to college because of that. But because of the digital world, more people are going to college. But more people going to college means more unemployed graduates. And when the supply is only this much at a fixed rate, the supply does not change until more people grow their companies. Just saying. And I think really we can somewhat really wrap it up with a lesson here. It's just like AI may be forcing you to go in a route of starting your own job, but it's also
Hmm.
realistically telling you that you kind of have to just open your eyes, open your mind, and be like, you have to do it now. You have to do it because we don't know when it gets worse. Rather than wait later, do it now. Just like how people say, like, when should you invest? Invest now. Invest $1 now and keep growing after that. That's just how it works. It's like this way. We're not using money here, but it's kind of like this. If you want to invest your time in podcasting or whatever passion you may have, instead of investing it later, invest it today. On the minute you talk about it, do it.
Yeah, the minute you talk about it, too. That's a
Because
good one.
because that's the important lesson here. the longer that you wait, you may never do it. By actually doing it, forcing your mind to be like, all right, this stuff might take over me. I'm gonna do it today. If you look at us now, even though we're like 3 episodes in, we still want to keep going because it's the passion that we have. We love tech. We like AI because we find AI very useful with our lives. But why not turn it into a podcast show then? Discuss our experience with AI. Simple as that. So we're kind of like part of the entrepreneurship journey, but we can't call it officially until we actually grow ourselves. So, but it really begins with supporters. Really, supporters really helps a lot. You know, supporters is what helps us get over the hump.
To all you people out there, keep doing what you guys are doing because you guys are good.
Right?
You guys are literally good.
You guys have potential. You guys are good because you have potential, but get yourself out there and do it. That's the lesson I would take it away from. So, yeah. All right, cool. This is gonna wrap up our today's talk show. It's a bit of a mix, you know, a lot of things. We talked about forcing jobs and uncertainties, and I suddenly threw in a question about too many college students. But whether you think it's degree, whether you agree or disagree with them, you know, we're really just talking through opinions. Like it wasn't like we looked it up and and thought that this is all facts and everything, because you know we just like to share what we feel and how we kind of like just let the world understand like this is how we feel, but everyone can feel differently. So that's gonna end today's episode, and our next one's gonna be something a little fun, I guess. And obviously, if you love our content, you know, obviously we'll start posting shorts very soon, some short clips. And in the meantime, if you like the video, please like this video. Continue to support us by subscribing to our channel too. Definitely more episodes coming our way, as our scheduled weekly uploads are always weekly, every week. So y'all can keep up to date with us every week just by simply hitting the subscribe button. You'll get the notifications. And
Yep. No.
and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.